Hi, I'm Professor Stephanie, and in this video we're going to look at drawing a two-point perspective book. It's an older leather-bound book. I have some photographs for you that are posted so you can see this closer. And it has this is actually a marble design on it. It has a beautiful center marble too. Yay! Anyway, so we're going to use two-point perspective today, and that gives us we've got a horizon line, a vanishing point on the right and the left. These are actually 10 inches apart, and I'm going to note some of these measurements, but I'll also have that listed for you so you can double check them. So the vanishing points are 10 inches side to side. I've come across 4 inches here from here to here, and I'm going to come down. I came down 2 inches from here to here to get my dot. Again, there's going to be a little map for you. And so we're going to start with our leading edge, and as I mentioned, it's it's 1.25 inches down, but this is going to be 3 inches. Yeah, you'll want to check those measurements. Great. All right, one of the things we know when we start, I've got tools. I'm going to use my T-square and my triangle. I've got a pencil and a design line, black line marker. So I'm going to start on the right, and I'm going to make some light guidelines. I'm going to pivot my pencil on that line. I'm going to come to this dot here, okay? Let's go ahead, and I'm going to get my other line. So I have the top and the bottom of the box from the right side. Now let's go over to the left side. Again, I can pivot. Nice line there. This is left side. Terrific. All right, so we've got ourselves started. Now we have to get a measurement from here to here. This is actually going to be the front of the box, and that's going to be 2.5 inches. All right, so I'm going to put a dot. You know, I like working with dots, here to here. Now, you might say, what am I going to do? The key here is that you want to create a parallel line to the center leading edge, okay? And how are we going to do that? Notice I've got my T-square, my triangle, and I'm just going to move it over to the dot, and I'm going to be very careful to make this line straight. This is a very hard line to make freehand, okay? You really want to have both of these tools right here, because what happens is if you make this freehand and you say, I think that kind of looks straight, notice what's happening here. Holy moly, we're going to get into trouble. So trust what's happening. This concept of parallel line, that's really critical. All right? Okay, so we've got that. We're looking good here. I'm actually going to come in and I'm going to mark. I'm just going to give a little curve here, but this is the base of our book right here, this right-hand side. Great. Now, this side is going to be shorter. It's where the binding is. I'm going to go 1.25 inches. Again, here comes the T-square, here comes my triangle. I'm going to be very careful that this parallels. Okay, see what I've got here? Parallel, parallel. No angles here, okay? You can keep it working that way. You'll be very successful. Now remember, this is the binding part. Last time you did this, many of you did a great job getting a curve here. There we go. So now that's starting to look like a book, okay? So you might say, oh my gosh, that's great. What do I do next? The next thing is I want to think about, I can actually go back to my little guide here. So this line came from the vanishing point. This line came from the vanishing point. We're going to put a dot here, and this line's going to come from the vanishing point. So here's 1, 2, here's my dot right here. Here comes 3. And again, I'm going back to my pencil. 1, 2, 3. Remember before? 1, 2, 3. Same thing for this. Let's see if we can do it this way. 1, 2, here I go. This is going to be 3 up here. Okay? Now we've got something that's starting to look like a book. And I'm going to go ahead like we did before. Noticed in the old-fashioned books, I don't know if you can see that. We're going to make a thickness here. We're going to curve this, and then a thickness here. So let's see if we can do that. So again, I'm back to my marker. I'm going to go ahead and make this, it's going to be fairly narrow. We're doing a good job trying to look with our eye to see how we can make that look parallel. And then I'm going to get myself a little wobbly there, a little tricky. Okay, and then like you did before, that, and I have to go back to a straight edge, and I'm just going to, that we can make some. Notice I'm going, here's my vanishing point on the right. This is all parallel, parallel, come back to parallel. And then we know this would have some of the I think it's a little trickier with two-point perspective to get things to look realistic, but I'm trying to do the best I can, make that look like a book. Yay. Okay. Excellent. So we're off to a good start. So let's put some of these decorative features. We're going to put some of these bars in here. Oops, I got the essays upside down. Sorry. The bars in here, and you can also play around a little bit with this. So what I'm going to do is, since with my leading edge, I can add some dimension. This is remember we had the flat front. You could make dimensions. I'm actually going to mark a 1/2 inch going down the spine of the book. Okay, and then I'm going to also mark a 1/2 inch on the opposite side. This is how, we're actually, here's this cone. Things are getting smaller as we go away. And the way we're able to do that is to use this leading edge as our guide. So you notice I'm going from this dot over here, making that little hash mark. Great. And then that gives me a chance, and this is a little odd. I can't seem to get this to work. So this should be going with that, which should be going with that. Why am I not getting that to work? You think it works? It kind of works. Oh, it does work. Okay. Miracle. So that was very odd. All right. It's theoretically correct, but it felt very odd. So don't take my lead on that, and just trust it's going to work out. So what am I doing now? Ha! I am getting the center. Okay? And why do I want the center? Because it's going to help me, for one thing, as you look at the photograph, it's going to help me. There's some fun little designs in the center, right? I can add those. And I'm going to play around a little bit just to show you some things you can do. So this might be fun here. This is wonderful practice. So all I did was outline that box that was already there. And here's my center right here. I'm going to put a little flower design. Okay? Again, I'm using this guide right there as the center. I'll do this again. I'm just giving an outline. This is adding design, adding pattern. I have so much fun with pattern. Okay. It also looks like some of these lines are doubled. So you have a chance to play around a little bit, add some these decorative features that bookbinding used to have back in the olden days. Great. Okay. So the trick here was to get this little bit of a curve going from the dots on the leading edge and the dots we made. So I would start with pencil. Good. All right, let's look at this side of the book, okay? So this has also a really fun design. We're going to make this line right here. We're going to make it a double line. It's going to be 3/4 of an inch on our page. And then I'm going to show you how to make these corners, and we're going to play a little around with that design. So I'm back to my ruler, 3/4 of an inch, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. Excellent. I'm going back to this idea of a straight edge because, again, it's got to be parallel or it really won't look right, okay? All right. And I just want to play around and see if I can get that looking pretty sharp. Good. Okay. Good. Now, what's happening in this corner is this is it's like it doesn't really work with our 2-point perspective. Now, that might sound a little confusing, but I am going to show you how it works, and I think that you'll be able to understand that. So I'm going to come out a 1/2 inch here, okay, and then I'm just going to come up here, and that's also a 1/2 inch, right? And then I'm going to come down a 1/2 inch. Actually, let's go up 1/2 inch and do the same thing here. All right, so you can see I have my guide points. I've come 1/2 inch on each of these corners. And then I'm going to connect them, all these dots all by themselves, not working with anything but the dots, the measurement down from the corner of the book. Voila. Okay? So that's where I want everyone to end up, okay? See if you can add a little something to the front. Definitely add this. Those of you who want to play around, I'm going to show you how to add the marbling. So I'm going to get my lead here from this diagonal. There's a diagonal right here in the pattern, here in the pattern, here in the pattern. Same with this way. So I'm going to make a crisscross grid, and I'm going to use my eye. See if you can do that. You're welcome to measure, but notice what I did. This was my guide right here, right along here. Same with here. Now, what happens is within that, I want you to notice I'm going to make a little pattern that is like a leaf that pointed, and in each one of these, right in here. So I'm going to take this and this, I'm just going to freehand. And I could fill it in a little bit. So if I need to, I'll go back and I'll show you this grid in ink, okay? So when I created this grid, I used this diagonal, and then I used this diagonal, kind of, and it's not exact. Making a little bit of a mess here. Okay, that's what we're looking at. And then I can put this in here, the little pattern. This is sort of a freehand way of making a little curvy and to a point, like a shell. That's what it looks like. Put some little dots in there. And again, this is optional. Might be worth trying, even if you did it in pencil, it'd be fun. Ooh, that little triangle, that little box there. Great. Oops, probably would have. Anyway, don't want to get too fussy. So here we have our book, leather-bound book with the marbling cover. Great. Thank you.